We all dream of high-end hardware. I think it's something that's built into every hobby. We like to think that higher-end hardware makes us better at our hobby, and to a certain extent, that may be true. But I think there's more to it than that. Today, I get to review one of the most impressive looking pieces of sim racing hardware on the market, the Cube Controls Formula CSX2. I'm Lawrence, welcome to the channel. Introduction. On the left you'll see all the sections in this video. I've put timestamped links to each section in the description below. While you're down there, please hit the thumbs up button to help YouTube suggest videos like this to other people like you. Please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified about upcoming reviews. 70% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel. First impressions. Cube Controls packages their products extremely well. They tried to surround them with an experience, including trendy phrases on the box that make the unboxing of the product an important part of buying and owning a CSX2. The box contains a coiled cable, power adapter, some mounting hardware, including tweezers for sticker application, a manual, 2 sticker sheets, and of course the wheel itself, which comes with a protective branded drawstring bag. It even comes with a Cube Controls t-shirt. You can specify your t-shirt size when you're ordering the wheel online on their website. When I first grabbed the wheel out of the box, it was surprisingly light. I was expecting it to be heavier, but it's largely made of carbon fibre and aluminium. And it doesn't come with a quick release, and that's up to you to decide, because it all depends on which wheelbase you're going to fit it to and all that. On their website, they do offer quick release options for Logitech and Thrustmaster, but honestly, in this day and age, I think they should be offering more of them or none of them, because associating such a high-end product with brands which don't necessarily make corresponding high-end products may not be good for their image. The wheel has some stickers pre-applied, but most of the stickering is left up to you and your personal preference. It has a 4.3-inch Ultimate Game Tech LCD screen, 13 backlit buttons, 6 along the left side and 7 along the right hand side, 2 toggle switches, 6 rotary encoders, 2 at the top of the grips, 2 thumb encoders either side of the screen, and 2 on the face of the wheel just below the screen. It also features a full 8-way directional joystick with integrated rotary encoder and click down. There are 2 magnetic shifters and 2 clutch paddles. Finally, there's a red rotary dial at the bottom left which allows you to control the clutch's bite point on the fly. I'll go into more detail on each of these later in the review. Unfortunately, there isn't a wireless version of the steering wheel. There are just too many inputs for most systems to handle. For example, the SimiCube wireless system, which some of the other Cube Controls GT and Formula wheels use, support up to 28 inputs. That simply won't suffice for the CSX2, which sports an incredible 56 inputs. That's pretty unbelievable. Grips. The grips on the wheel are elastomer molded using a Cube Controls proprietary technology. I don't know exactly what that entails, but it makes for fairly rubbery feeling grips. I've had steering wheels with a similar feel before, and the first thing that crossed my mind was how dirty those other wheels got as dust and cat hair just stuck to the grips. However, this is probably where the whole proprietary technology thing comes in, as the CSX2 doesn't suffer from this problem at all. The level of grip that you get with bare hands is huge, and with gloves it feels like the wheel is glued to your hands. The material is going to wear extremely well and wouldn't look out of place in a real race car. This is not only down to the materials though. The size of the grips just seems absolutely perfect for the type of driving I've done with it. I've raced all sorts of open wheelers, from F1 to IndyCar to Skip Barber to Formula 3, and I don't think that any other wheels I've used have fitted my hand this well. This was a real surprise for me, especially as I initially wasn't sure about the material. Buttons. The buttons have a really short throw. They're quite heavy, so you won't end up accidentally pressing them. The buttons are backlit, 4 red, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. There are 2 green buttons in the middle, and the other 7 are all blue. They came up with a very nice colour combination, but I can imagine that many people would love the ability to change the backlighting like you can with some other wheels. The toggle switches are really discreet, and when put to on mode they light up, which is really nice. Both the on and off positions register a shared input, so the input is perfect for things like headlights and even wipers. Rotary encoders. The rotary encoders on this wheel are pretty perfect. Their feel is like no other encoders that I've used. They're really clear to the touch and the detent is crisp and accurate. While I'm waiting for others to grit up, I often just play with them because they feel so nice. Their locations are good and it's extremely easy to make adjustments on the fly. They're more than enough even for the most complex of requirements. The two large encoders on this wheel actually have 8 inputs each. This is perfect when you have specific presets or scenarios that you need to select. Gear shifters. The magnetic gear shifters feel really good. Not too clicky, but still have a good throw so you have no chance of doing a double shift by mistake. The paddles and mounts are made from carbon fibre and even sport a Cube Controls logo which you can barely see. They're probably the same shifters that they use on all their rims and I'm extremely happy with them. Clutch paddles. Clutch paddles are one of those features that you never really knew you needed until you experienced them. Clutch paddles allow you to release the clutch to a specific bite point to get the car rolling without breaking traction, ensuring maximum grip off the line. The paddles again are made of carbon fibre and feel really good and they perform extremely well. The real genius here and what makes these clutch paddles a real joy to use is the little red dial. This allows you to adjust the clutch's bite point on the fly. This is especially useful as track conditions may vary between sessions and your bite point may be slightly different. So at the start of every qualifying session, I do a few quick test launches and adjust the bite point. Although this dial is out of the way, I have occasionally hit it and changed my bite point by accident. I'd love if there was a mechanical lock on this dial to keep it in place, as it's not the type of thing that you want to accidentally adjust. The springs on the paddles themselves could be slightly heavier for increased accuracy. The screen. The wheel's main attraction is the 4.3 inch full colour screen. The resolution of 480 by 272 doesn't sound huge, but it's more than enough for its size and its purpose. The screen is the Ultimate GameTech V2 USB screen, which is also used in some other steering wheels. This is the brain of the operation and all of the CSX2's 56 inputs on this steering wheel are routed through the screen circuit board. When you load up your favourite sim title, the logo of the sim appears on the screen, which is a lovely touch. I'd love to be able to change this image, as some of them don't take full advantage of the screen's potential. However, this is something I've communicated with Ultimate GameTech, who make the screen, and we may see it in future releases. The screen is surrounded with 21 LEDs with colour and brightness control using the UGT software. The UGT software is needed in order to use this wheel properly. It must be running, but it's not resource intensive. The software comes with several preset screen layouts, with so much variation that I haven't felt the need to create one from scratch yet. However, you can clone an existing one and customize it with lots of details like track name, car name, etc. to make it completely personalized. It's really nice to be able to view your sector times, leaderboards, etc. easily and consistently between sim titles. Pretty much any textual info that you show on your screen apps or overlays is available on this screen. And you can easily map buttons on the wheel to cycle through the various screens, so you can properly customize the way it works. You can include or omit screens per sim title, which is a very clever feature. The screen alone warrants a detailed video. I won't go into the depths of the UGT software in this review because there's so much you can change, and it is very well thought out. If you do want to see a lot of that detail, please go check out Barry Roland from Sim Racing Garage's video where he goes into a lot of detail about how to change colours and all that kind of stuff of all the various screens. Installation. Installing a quick release is super simple. I used a 70mm PCD quick release and I've secured it with 3 bolts. The 3 bolts were supplied. The flange on the back of the wheel housing makes installing a quick release extremely simple. The location of the bolt is a little tricky due to the shifter and clutch paddles, but it's still manageable. The wheel requires a mains connection for power, as USB alone will not power it. Cube Controls supplies a branded adapter to split the USB 2 cable coming from the steering wheel. I didn't get a UK plug with my power lead, so I had to use a travel adapter, which isn't ideal but works the same. The coiled USB cable is more than long enough for my needs. However, I do have one issue with this system. There's no on and off switch. This seems like a very basic oversight in my view. I've relayed this to Cube Controls and I expect to see a power switch on future versions. Where the USB cable connects to the wheel rim is effective, however, the materials don't seem as high quality as you may expect from a top-end sim racing product. I'd love to see some metal parts being used here. The Ultimate Gamer Tech software is really easy to install. It auto-detects your games and automatically discovers your wheel provided it's plugged in correctly. As mentioned before, I advise mapping a button to switch between screens. The top right rotary encoder does the job perfectly for me. I'd love if the software was Cube Controls branded, even if it's just a white label branding on the software. The software and screen are extremely good, and you don't know where Cube Controls ends and UGT takes over. It feels like one product the way it should be. Final thought. Let's not beat about the bush here. This is an incredible looking and incredibly performing piece of hardware, and it's priced accordingly. The Formula CSX2 will cost you €1,499 for the black model, which is the one you see in this video. There are also two variations, but the differences are minimal. There's a red version with all the metal bits being red, that will cost you €1,526, and the blue version will cost you €1,536. I'm not sure why these colour variations warrant a price increase when you're already paying such a premium for the hardware. Now, it doesn't matter who you are and how much you earn, that's a hell of a lot of money for a piece of sim racing hardware. However, when compared to many hobbies, the price becomes quite easy to justify to those who can afford it. This isn't just another pretty steering wheel. A set of tyres for a race weekend can cost the same, and those who will buy this wheel will be very aware of that. I think it's only a matter of time before Cube Controls releases a D-shaped or round version of this wheel. This Formula style rim is pretty special, and when I do change to a rally title and use a different steering wheel rim, I miss the data on screen, which I've become a bit reliant on. I love that the stickers aren't all pre-applied, however, the lower menu and scroll stickers partly expose the housing bolts underneath and don't look like they were designed to either hide or expose these bolts. Similarly, when I went to install wiper and headlight toggle stickers, they kind of hovered over the housing bolts. I prefer if the bolts were all exposed, as I feel that would actually add to the look and feel of the wheel. The buttons are all housed by hard plastic material, which is ergonomically molded and really helps to remind you which buttons you're pressing without needing to look. When applying stickers though, it soon became apparent that the stickers won't stick well to that surface at all, so this clutch sticker for example fell off soon after application. However, the other stickers do stick to the carbon fibre perfectly. Now, some of you may say that this wheel isn't useful if you use VR, but I hope that it's clear that this wheel is far more than just a fancy screen. The grips are sensational, and dare I say they're the best grips I've ever used. The adjustable clutch paddles are a dream to use, and if you like a quick launch, you'll get amazing value out of the on-the-fly adjustment feature alone. Perhaps the Formula Sport or the Formula Pro are more suited to VR, and you can save yourself some money in the process. The 280mm width makes it a relatively compact wheel, suited to all types of driving, provided you don't need to apply much countersteer. The closer your wheel is to your eyeline, the better, as you don't want to be looking down and taking your eyes completely off the road every time you need some info from your CSX2 screen. It does lend itself better to a Formula style seating position, but even with a more upright setup like mine, the screen is very accessible and useful. If you're very reliant on on-screen apps in your simulators, it may take some time to adjust to using the screen on your wheel instead of your monitor that you're used to looking at. If you do rid your monitor of all the on-screen apps and HUD overlays that you have and just concentrate on the Formula CSX2 screen, you actually drift into a very pure and involved, realistic driving experience, which does feel like a massive upgrade. It becomes less of a game and more of a sim. All in all, this is a seriously impressive device, both functionally and aesthetically. It feels like a high-end product, as if it was lifted straight out of a real race car. Although it's a fraction of the price of a similar wheel for a real race car, it's not within budget for most sim racers. Many will ask whether it's worth it, and that's a very subjective question. Those who will buy one will be very happy and very proud. It'll become the centerpiece of their rig. Most of us will simply dream of products like this and live vicariously through the people who do own them. One thing that's for sure though, is that we need high-end products like this to give us something to dream about when we're not sitting at our simulators. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Lawrence, thank you so much for your time.